everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you can hear that, it's because I'm currently babysitting my sister's dog, and she is high maintenance. So you may hear her pattering around in the back, but basically we finished another month. We're going into June. Is it technically June right now? No, tomorrow. It's technically June tomorrow. This has been the worst reading month I have had in all of 2025. And I'm a bit disappointed that I've read so little. I've read 6 books in the month of May, which is not too little, too much. It's not. I'm only beating myself up about it because I want to have read more. So if you're looking at this thinking, Jesus, Jordyn's really disappointed and she only read 6 books and I've only read 2. That's not what the point is. However many books you read is amazing. But I personally know I can read a lot more in a month than 6 books. I read some good books though, and they were all quite highly rated. Obviously because I'm not at home, I cannot physically show you the books that I read this month because, again, they are at home. So I have my reading journal actually with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the 6 books I read. I'm going to read you out the reviews that I wrote in my reading journal and possibly some of the quotes that I loved in the story and what page number that they're on. So I'll do all that with you and that will be the wrap up, and it's literally just that. I'll obviously insert the pictures of the books as we talk about them. So the first book I picked up in May. Well, not picked up but finished. I started it in April and I finished it at the start of May. So it was Fearless by Lauren Roberts, which is the third and final... Sorry, she's crying again. It's the third and final book in the Powerless trilogy. So I was lucky enough to get a ticket to the author event that Eason's held with Lauren Roberts, where she talked about the book. And silly old me thought they were going to be talking about Fearless and giving us the going through the actual story. Sorry, I'm giving her rubs so that she calms down. But I thought that was the whole purpose of the book the event was to talk about that. But they kept it non-spoilers, which, look, fair play to them. It's very hard to keep an event non-spoilers when so many people have read it. Sorry, Sadie, come here. She's a crazy doggy. She has a full bowl of food, but yet she's coming over to me crying because she wants me to get more food out of her little cupboard. But come here, there's nothing in there. Now, do you want to sit up here? I'm getting to the point where I might as well just have her on my lap while I'm recording, but hopefully she'll quieten down. But basically, yeah, I read Fearless, went to the author event. It was so exciting. I got lucky enough, I got to meet one of the people who handles the marketing team for Eason's up there. I think her name was Lorna. Lovely woman. And she recognised me and told me how happy she was that I had came to the event because I considered not coming. And I did. And I was okay, I'm going to go deal with her and I'll be back. She is now going out the back. So hopefully we can get through this uninterrupted. So, Fearless. The review I've written is, I am so sad that the series is over. I cannot believe the way it ended. I kind of predicted that Kit was going to die, but was still so sad. The whole story was just crazy. I thought Kai was going to die and I'm so happy he didn't. Kit really did some shady business. Oh no, Kit, I wrote this when I was tired. Kit really did... Anyway, he did some shady stuff and he had more secrets most of all, and I said I feel empty inside, but in the best way. And then the memorable quotes that I have was, and I can feel myself starting to drift without him to anchor me, which is on page 199. Then I am grief, I am sorrow, I am anguish alike on page 380. And then Paige and Grey has a way of making people care about her is on page 557. And I gave Fearless a 5 stars. I was so happy with how it ended. The ending was really interesting. We obviously she's confirmed one novella. I've seen other places that she's confirmed possibly a second one, but I've only seen one confirmed. So we definitely have one coming to us soon or eventually. I don't know. Next, I read an arc I got sent, which was called Deadwood by Carly Brenna, and I rated this 3.5 stars. I said I did enjoy this book, and it was a really nice introduction into the series, but overall it was very long. I felt like there was too much things thrown out, which I wish were revealed differently. The ending was really interesting and does have me excited for the next one. So the way the book ends is very, very good, but I just feel like there were so many, like, magical elements thrown into the story way too early, especially if it's going to be a series. I think you can introduce stuff, but you don't need to bring it in. Like, there was a lot of things brought into it between magic and dragons and the political systems and all that. There was just too much overall for an introduction, I felt. But I really do want to pick up the next one when it comes out. I don't know, because this only came out this year, so I've no clue. These are two books that I've read that have both come out this year. So Fearless came out this year, obviously, and so did Deadwood. But hopefully in the next one, because there was so much information thrown at us, maybe it might be slower paced in the next two. I do not know. Or next two. I don't even know if there is two. But yeah, that is my review on Deadwood by Carly Brenna. The next one I read the next three I read for a video. So I read The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and I gave this 4 stars. I said I really enjoyed this book. At points I found Clementine a bit annoying, but it didn't bother me too much. I actually enjoyed the paranormal aspect, which I've now learned is actually kind of like magical realism. So the magical realism aspect in the book, which isn't usually for me. I absolutely love the grief representation, and it made me feel more connected to the characters. Now, these two quotes, Ashley Poston's books have beautiful quotes. So this quote is, like meeting an old friend 7 years later. Like meeting an old friend 7 years later. Okay, that's the one that's on page 294. And then this one is very, very early on in the book. I think I actually said this quote in my vlog of reading these, which was, I love how a book, a story, a set of words in a sentence organised in the exact right order make you miss places you've never visited and people you've never met. And it's on page 16. It's brilliant. If you want to see a more in-depth review on it, then go watch the vlog. I have it. It's reading my bestie's choices. So the 7-Year Slip was a choice by one of my friends. The next one was also a choice by one of my friends. No, it wasn't, sorry. This was an arc. It was Riding the High by Paisley Hope. This is the 3rd book in the Silver Pines series. So we're following Cole and Ginger in this story. I gave it 4 stars. I absolutely loved it. It's my favourite in the series so far. Sorry, drinking my coffee. This book is 100% my favourite in the series. I really rooted for them to be together. Ginger and Mabel's relationship was so cute. The cringing nicknames really bothered me. She calls him Law Daddy, and I just don't like that. I personally don't. So the cringing nicknames really bothered me, and the amount of spice brought the rating down for me. By far my 2 favourite characters. The one thing I've noticed with Paisley Hope's books is, and look, if you enjoy it, that's for you, but it's just personally not for me, when we have spicy sexual scenes but they're going on for like 3 chapters. There's no need for that. I think that's overdoing it in my eyes. But the emotional connection these characters had really made up for the fact of that. There's 3 quotes I have, and there's 4, sorry. But I can't have the page number. I don't have the page numbers because it was on my Kindle that I read it, and it was an arc, so it didn't have all of the page numbers. It just had the location of where it was, and I'm too lazy to figure out what page it's on. I actually need to get a physical copy. So the first quote is, "We are the wild cards out of all of them." Next is, "Asleep, curled into Cole like it might just be where I belong." And then, so that's Ginger. And then we have Cole's side when he says, "Right now I just need both my girls in my arms where they belong." And then the last one that I just thought was really, really sweet was, "With Ginger by my side, I feel whole." They're the best couple. Love them so much. Really, really do. I have thought about this book quite a lot since reading it. they're very good characters. He's a single dad. She becomes his like nanny for the summer. They've also gotten, I don't know is this a spoiler or not, but they've gotten married when they were drunk, and they are trying to keep it under wraps. So they use the guise of her being the nanny for the summer to kind of keep things under wraps, because he's just became sheriff of the police department, so he can't have any scandals come out against him in case, because he feels like because he's already so new, he needs to make sure everything goes perfectly. Sadie, she's crying again, sorry. We've only 2 more books to go anyway. So the next one is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This was Morgan's pick for my video. So love this book so much. Roman and Iris were such a cute couple. I love the typewriter element and how they were connected. And then I just went in with quotes, because all of these quotes, there's so many in this book that are so good. So I used, like, I only have a small piece in my journal where I can write the reviews. So a lot of the times if I have a lot of quotes, I'll just write a really concise review, and then all of it will be quotes. So above all, he knows that he doesn't deserve you and your words, and he never will, which is on page 222. The next one is on page 288. Even when the world seems to stop threatening to crumble and the hours feel dark as the sirens ring, ... it isn't a crime to feel joy. The next is Sometimes I'm Afraid to Love Other People, which is on page 88. And then Love the City Best During Autumn, when she felt as if magic could be tasted in the air. So she's talking about her mum here, and that's on page 91. And then on page 218, this is just a short and sweet one. It just says, it was a silence to drown in. It's a beautiful book. Very easy, very accessible for new romance or new romantasy readers, 100%. I'm really excited for Brutalist Vows, which is the second one. I haven't managed to pick it up yet. I gave it a 4.75 stars. It's weird because I have 4.75 here. I have 4.75 in one of my other ones, but I also have a 4.5 on Goodreads. So I don't know. I'm going to settle on the 4.75. It was nearly the 5 stars for me, but not quite. And then the last one was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. It was my first Kristen Hanna. It's a historical fiction book, and I rated it 4 stars. So I said this book had me so conflicted. It felt like we were getting so much detail that wasn't necessary. The ending absolutely broke my heart, and I was so heartbroken for everyone. There were so many quotes I loved. Her writing was brilliant, but the pacing definitely could have been a bit better. That's the one thing I noticed when reading. I found the book very, very long and very, very dragged out. Like, I think I was probably 10% in, and I was like, is this going to pick up? Because if it doesn't, I'm going to have to DNF it. And I've never DNF'd a book. I can safely say I've never done it. I personally, once I start something, I feel like I have to finish it. So I will persevere to the very last, even if I'm hating every second of it. So I did push through, and it did definitely get better, which is why it got the 4 stars. The ending really, really got me. And it was something I didn't really figure out until it was revealed to us. She did it very, very well, to the point where you're convinced it's one character's point of view that we're seeing it from, but it's actually another character. And I found that super interesting. I love the aspect of World War II. I do like that as a backdrop. I do find World War II very, very interesting. Although sometimes it can be very, very repetitive when people are using it as a backdrop in their stories, because it's been done so many times. But I am really, really excited to get into more of her historical fiction books. The next book I am picking up, because it actually was picked for my June TBR, which is The Women by Kristen Hanna. So I am excited for that. Hopefully I'll enjoy that one even more, even though I gave it a 4 stars. Like, it was brilliant, but I hope, I want that 5-star feeling out of a Kristen Hanna book, because I feel like so many people get that feeling, and I want that feeling. But they're all the books that I read in May. It was a very slow month for me. And considering I had the week off work this week as well, I'm so shocked I haven't read more. I am currently in the middle of 5 books. I'm in the middle of Air Fire by Sarah J. Maas. I'm in the middle of Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. I'm in the middle of The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I'm in the middle of Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I'm also in the middle of Mile High, and I am also in the middle of releasing 10. So I'm in the middle of 6 books at the moment. Everything is kind of gone to the back burner. Like, I'm certain percent through all of the books, but they have all been thrown to the back because of releasing 10. So when I finish releasing 10, I'll be able to tackle the rest of the books. But for the moment, releasing 10 obviously is my main focus. But yeah, that is all the books I read in May. I have uploaded my June TBR. I can link it below for you so that you can go watch my June TBR. I let my TBR jar pick it again this month. And I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got some good recommendations. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one.